Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Positivity. I am your host, Zakia McCoy. Here at Cooking with Positivity, we like to focus on positivity leading to success, whether that be in your business, in your love life, and your everyday decision making. Happy Monday! I hope everybody's Monday is off to a great start. I am feeling ready for this week, and I'll tell you why. Because yesterday was Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day again to all the mothers. Salute to all the mothers. And I spent it in the house. Although I went out Friday, I had a good time with my besties. I spent Mother's Day weekend in the house for the most part. And here's why I'm not upset or butthurt about it. One, I was in the house with the reason I'm a mother. Now, did I miss spending time with my mother and my grandmother? Of course. That's normally, what we do. We come together, we have a meal. Everybody just wasn't up for it this Mother's Day. And that's completely fine too. My mother wanted to be in her bed. I was happy being in mine. My grandmother, she's happy hearing from everybody. So it all worked out. Even though I did say on Eric G's show yesterday, when I did my Mother's Day shout out, they didn't answer the phone for me. And I was feeling that kind of way. And I told my mother, I was like, I was talking junk about you on a show just now, about you not answering the phone. She told me she was asleep. She was resting. She was enjoying her Mother's Day, resting. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this month, we are honoring the women who nurture, teach, guide, sacrifice, and pour into generations, often without applause, recognition, or even acknowledgement in the moment or after the moment. Now, this week's theme is love in action, because real love is not always loud. Sometimes love looks like correction, sacrifice. It looks like teaching and lessons we don't understand until years later. I asked you guys last week to tell us something that you learned from your mom that you didn't understand necessarily until you got older. Something that dawns on you that you use still today. Because today we're talking about the kind of love that builds legacy through knowledge. And whether your weekend was full of celebration, reflection, family time, or quiet moments, or just rest like my mama and myself, because I did get some rest yesterday. I hope it reminded you of the power of motherhood in all forms. Now, I definitely stretched the pack this weekend. I made oxtails. Well, we made oxtails because my girls were very much my sous chef. And we made oxtails and I made them stretch with carrots, potatoes, rice, and cabbage. And That is a mother's lesson, right? That's one of those quiet acts of love so many mothers master, like taking what's available. Now, I don't know if you guys saw, but I had a decent size pack of oxtails. It's nothing to write home about, especially when I have two teenage daughters and they love them some oxtails too. They can put it away, okay? And I needed to stretch that thing because I know if I wanted to enjoy the flavors and savor the dish, I know they wanted to too. And even though yesterday was about me, it was not enough for us to just survive, but I wanted it to nourish. I wanted us to be able to gather around and create a memory. To me, that's love in action. And today's From Soil to Strength features Septima Clark, who was an educator, civil rights activist, and one of the most powerful examples of quiet leadership in American history. She believed education was liberation. She understood that knowledge wasn't just about reading and writing, even though we love both of those here. It was about power and it was about access. It was about changing generations. Through her citizenship school, she helped thousands of African Americans gain literacy skills so they could register to vote and fully participate in civic life. Now, if you know the state of voting right now, you know how important this is, how important this was, and how necessary it is. Now, she wasn't standing in front of cameras chasing attention. She was building foundations, teaching people the tools they needed to transform their futures. And isn't that what so many mothers do? I feel like we're missing the plot a lot of the times because we're missing those teachers, those repeat lessons that correct, that guide, that plant seeds. Even when they know them seeds might not bloom right away, that is quiet leadership. That is legacy. That is love in action. Now, our motivational Monday quote comes from Septima herself. We need to be taught to study rather than believe, to inquire rather than affirm, which is ironic because we are definitely going to do our affirmation at the end of this. But I'm going to read that again. We need to be taught to study rather than believe, to inquire rather than affirm. That quote definitely hits different when you think about motherhood. Some of the greatest mothers don't just tell us what to think, they teach us how to think. They challenge us to question. My mother taught me all the time, you don't understand something, ask questions. If you don't understand something, make sure you let your presence be known so you can get the help you need. And when I was in school, I was a very precocious young lady. I talked a lot. but I was also naturally inquisitive. Now, a lot of people equate that definition to being nosy. I was not nosy. I did what my mother taught me. My mother taught me if I did not understand something, if I did not know something, ask questions. A lot of my classmates would get upset with me sometimes because I would ask too many questions and make the lesson go a little bit longer. But I did what I had to do to gain the understanding, to grow and to learn and to become wiser than I was yesterday. And that's one of the deepest forms of love there is. I still get made fun of till this day for my use of vocabulary, for my pronunciation and projection. But these are some of the lessons that my mother taught me growing up. Speak clear. Make sure people can understand you. And learning is not a disease. Learning is something that enriches you and helps you grow. So I am grateful for that. And I want to remind you again that we want to know what advice has your mother or your mother figure giving you that you didn't understand until you got older. Maybe it's save money, which I think we all could have benefited that from that lesson today. Protect your peace, which is something that I had to learn along the way and teach myself. Everybody smiling in your face is not for you. Oh boy, did my mother did my mother give me that lesson time and time again, even still to this day. Okay? Well, not all of my friends. She loves all of you. Okay? You guys are her goddaughters. Okay? Take your time and don't settle. A lot of the lessons we resist when we are younger become the very lessons we lean on as adults. I don't know how many times my mother has come out of my mouth, and I say that to my daughters all the time because it low key frustrates me. It's like I rejected this when I was younger, and I said I'm not gonna raise my kids like that. I'm not gonna talk to my kids like that. I'm gonna be different. And it turns out I am different, but the core of me is still my mother. And sometimes wisdom has to age before it makes sense. So make sure you guys send in your messages. Make sure you're commenting on the posts. Make sure you keep building this Mother's Month conversation. We want to hear from you about your experience and your mother's wisdom. Okay? Also, in that same vein, the Boss Theater casting call is still open. Now, I posted up the scenes and the roles available. All you have to do is comment or message to claim your scene, and we'll get in and have some fun. Okay, Eric G told me he charging me $50. I don't know where he thinks it's gonna come from these good looks, but other than that, we're just having fun. Show off your acting chops. Come and play around with us. If you want to send in a monologue for one of the scenes, and if you're not comfortable with jumping in and, having a scene partner. We do have some monologue options. So just make sure you tap it in and have fun with us. Also, want to remind you that our Smash or Pass is available right now. I want to hear from you because this week is adult baby food. You already know this one is going to spark a lot of opinions, and I want to hear all of them, okay? Now, I I got a few questions when I first posted the adult baby food situation, right? This is an actual product, okay? It was created and marketed to adults out on their own, bachelor and bachelorettes who don't have the necessary skills to provide meals for themselves and to keep them from ordering takeout all the time. And they come in jars like baby food. Granted, the jars are bigger, okay, and they have adult flavors, okay, but it is a real product. So make sure you guys tap in and let me know if you're gonna smash or pass. And I want to thank everyone for voting for me in the Supermom competition. It has been amazing. It has been an amazing ride. I am currently sitting at position 8 right now. Yes, thank you guys. We made it to the top 10. Now, in order to move on, I need to make it to the top 5, which means I'm going to need y'all to vote some more. Look, I'm going to need y'all support. And I appreciate you for showing love. And one of the ways we show our appreciation here is by entering your name in our Fun Free Friday Positive Raffle, where you can win prizes from my business, Lisa Deshawn's businesses, because my girl is a serial entrepreneur. Y'all know this already. As well as prizes from some of our sponsors. Now, those prizes can look like merch, products, discount codes, or what have you. And we have amazing sponsors. Chef Rico just sponsored our last game night. And if you don't know Chef Rico, check him out on museumplus.com with his tours of Italy. Lucky Cajun just sponsored a week here at Cooking with Positivity with their water jerk seasoning. And you guys have the opportunity to not only get free shipping, but get an extra $2 off of the water jerk seasoning and so much more when you use our affiliation code. So we have amazing sponsors. We have amazing items from Lisa Deshawn's travel business and internet business and bags and bougie, amazing shopping experiences. Like the prize options are endless. And just by voting, just by joining the discussion, just by letting us know if you're going to smash or pass, you're entered into that raffle for any of those amazing prizes and more. Because we appreciate you and we want to show our appreciation. And now it's time for our weekly affirmation. So I want you to take a moment and say this with me. I carry wisdom that creates change. I'm going to say that again. I carry wisdom that creates change. The lessons you learn matter. The knowledge you share matters. The seeds you plant, they matter. You may not always see the harvest right away, but growth is happening. So I want you to say this affirmation while you're working out. I want you to say this affirmation before you go to work. I want you to say this affirmation while you're cooking. I want you to say this affirmation while you're putting the kids to bed. I want you to say this affirmation before you go to sleep. I want you to say this affirmation while you're brushing your teeth. I know it may be hard, but you got this. You can do it. I want you to say it, know it, believe it, and affirm it. And as we move through this week, remember, some of the most powerful love happens quietly. It happens with repetition, with those lessons that just repeat over and over because they show up in adulthood. They show up in your adult everyday life, right? Like meals that stretch. My mother had to feed 7 kids on a 2-kid household budget. And she did it amazingly. I can't remember a time being actually hungry. Thank the Lord. There may be times when I've been like, oh, I'm starving. And my mother reminds me, you don't know what starving is. And I'm not going to finish what else she said because that's painting a narrative that I have grown to understand is not a real narrative about a particular place. So we're going to leave that there, okay? But the sacrifices made, the corrections given, the seeds planted, and just like Cynthia Poinsett Clark showed us, teaching is one of the greatest acts of love we can offer. Thank you guys for tapping in this Monday. Please share, share, share. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. Help us spread this positive movement. And I know you're listening because I see the numbers. And I know this one was a little bit longer. But if you're still here, thank you. Make sure you push that share button. Make sure you let everybody know about this CWP family that we love so much. And bring them in on the fold. You know, let them know it's safe over here. Okay? And until tomorrow, I hope everybody has a great and positive rest of your day and a great and positive rest of your week.